Hi everyone. So I finally got my Pixel 8 after so much struggle. If you are following me on Twitter, you know what I'm talking about. But otherwise, today I used this phone on mobile data for the whole day. I took a lot of pictures and videos. So I have a lot to share about it. And I want to say one thing. I'm super impressed and I was not expecting that. But let's talk about it. So let's start with the in-hand feel, the design and build of the phone. This phone is really good in the hand because of the size. This is something like I prefer over bigger phones. I know a lot of people like it, but I really like the one hand option. I just wish it had that matte back like the Pixel 8 Pro because this still gets a lot of fingerprint. It's a fingerprint magnet. You might not see it as much on this color or even on the rose one, but on the black one, you'll be able to see it very easily. The visor is matte, which is better than Pixel 8 Pro because that will get a lot of scratches like the 7 Pro. But with this visor, you get like a lot of dust. So every time I take it out of my pocket, it's just a lot of dust. So I have to like clean it like this. I still have my fingerprints on it. But yeah, I think it looks like a more finished product. So I really like that about this phone. This has like very less bezels. There is a bit of chin, but you won't see it if you use a wallpaper like this. But I still think you cannot use it without a case because this phone is slippery unless you have a very sticky hand with moisture. This is going to slip, so I would suggest using a case. I wanted the official case, but it's not available in India. Waiting for it to come online, but yeah, for now I have ordered a transparent case, so that's gonna come very soon. I really like the button. They're very clicky. Listen to this. I really like that. And also the haptics are fabulous. I think this time I can say they are actually better than my iPhone 15. And I've heard a lot of people say about it. I also heard a fellow YouTuber talk about it, but now I felt it. I really think that Google has surpassed iPhone in so many levels, especially on the haptics. But that's about in-hand feel and the design of this phone. But let's talk about the display. So this time, this display is 120 hertz. Google has upgraded the quality of the display because if we talk about the Pixel 6 and Pixel 7, they really didn't have a good display. Pixel 7 Pro was good. Pixel 8 Pro is good. But now with Pixel 8, you're getting that 120 hertz. But by default, it's on 60 hertz. So you need to enable that. I don't know why Google did it. And I think a lot of people might not be able to realize it as well. But please do it. Also, the brightness is really good this time. So it's a peak brightness of 2000 nits. I also think they have improved the ambient light sensor on this. So I think that's another good thing about it because previous Google phones usually struggled with it. So that's really nice now. But that's not what we're here to talk about. So the biggest issue has been with Pixel is going to be the CPU. So this is now new Tensor G3, and I'm not gonna run any sort of benchmark, so I can just talk about my daytime experience. I'm also going to talk about the battery, but since it hasn't been a long time, I can just show you it has been on mobile data for the full day, but I wouldn't rely on it. This number is not good. Sometimes it'll show less. The just 5 minutes ago it was showing like 1 hour 43 minutes. Before that it was showing 2.5 hours. So I won't go for it. But I think it survived really well. I used my camera a lot today. I took a lot of pictures and videos. So the battery life has been okay, but this is like a just first day. So I will talk about that in my review. About the Tensor G3, the one thing I noticed that it only like was getting warm when I was setting up the phone, but after that I did not feel the warmthness as well. I mean, I was taking a lot of pictures and taking videos. It did not heat up at all, and I was super impressed. I know, I think Google is throttling the CPU. I've seen a lot of benchmark tests, but today in my, like, I was using it on 4G full day. I was booking a cab, I was taking pictures, I was taking calls. Everything was good and I was not expecting that. So I think they worked great on that part. I've seen a lot of people complain about it still heating. I did not face it today, but this is my first day. I'm going to talk about it more in my full review, but as of now, totally impressed. The one thing that actually made me sad is going to be the network. So today I was using my Geo SIM, and let me just show you. I was getting like barely any signal. It was there, but it was just like one or two. I was still able to make calls, but it was not really great, and I wasn't like relying on it. So I turned it off and I moved to 4G. So I'm using it on 4G right now. As you can see, it's on LTE. So I'm using it on 4G, and after that, I mean, I had a good network. I was able to call everyone. There was no call drop. So that's the only problem I faced. When I used my Airtel SIM with it, I did not face any sort of problem. So network on Airtel is really good if you're in India, but Jio is not really good. So if you want to use 5G, I would say avoid this phone. That's the only thing I really did not like about this phone today. One more thing I did not like about this phone, that is going to be the audio quality of this phone. Let me just show you an example. So that's about audio. I think it's more flat and sharp, and when I compare it to iPhone 15, it's more bassy. But I'm going to do a proper comparison between them. So if you want to watch that, you can subscribe to my channel. But yeah, speakers are not on flagship level, which I miss because I watch a lot of videos on my phone. So that's one thing. If you are someone who want to listen to music on your speaker phone, not a great phone for that. But yeah, apart from that, there are some new AI feature. Most of them are not even available right now, but there is that AI wallpaper thing, which I did not like much. I tried to generate some wallpaper. The quality was not really great, so probably not gonna use it. Apart from that, you have some editing feature that is going to come on Pixel 8 Pro, but probably you'll get it here. Even that magic eraser, if you have Google One subscription, it came to other phones as well. So like, I wouldn't buy this phone just for all of those AI features. But I actually like the new camera app where they have divided the photo and video section. And it is going to come on every phone. I think it's also on the Pixel 7 Pro, but I like that part. But also you also get that macro feature on the ultra wide. And I took a lot of picture. Let me just show you. And I'm going to talk about those things as well. But I did take a lot of pictures, which I'm going to talk about right now. When it comes to pictures, I don't really have to talk about anything when it comes to Pixel phones. I love them. I think they are my favorite cameras, and the Pixel 8 continues to do the same. In the daylight, the photos are amazing. This is the perfect point and shoot camera. You don't have to worry about the HDR, the details. You're going to get everything you want from a point and shoot camera like Pixel phones. And I really love that about it. The HDR is really good, even if it's in the daylight or even if it's like the evening. I really like pictures coming out from the Pixel 8. This time I think iPhone and Pixel both work on the 2x really well. You're not going to get that natural bokeh because of the larger sensor, but even in 2x you get a lot of details. When it comes to the skin tones as well, I think Pixel like hits the spot. There are times you will see a little bit reddish hue, but most of the time I think the rear camera picture with the skin tones is really good. The portrait, I think it's good, but I think Samsung and iPhone surpassed it. So sometimes it looks artificial, but it's fine. Even the front camera portraits are good, but not great. The other thing I don't really like about is going to be the front camera. It's just okay, but not anything better than that. But the low light photo from rear cameras are really good as well. That's another USP of Pixel as well. The night sight works really great. But even if you don't want to use that, I think they work great. Even with 2x, the night sight photos work really good. So these are some examples from the night sight I took with the 2x. I'm really impressed. Even in very low light where it was pitch dark, I was able to get some details out of those pictures. Now let's talk about the videos. This is a recording from the front camera. I'm also recording in 4K 30 frames per second. I wish there was a way to switch the front and rear camera, but that's not an option available. You can see the HDR, everything behind me. I'm walking in the balcony so you can hear the audio as well. So as you can see, the video quality looks nice. Not sure about the HDR as much. It's not as great as the rear one, but this is 4K 30 for you. This is a 4K video recording from Pixel 8. So I'm recording from the rear camera in 4K 30 frames per second. So this is the audio quality and the video quality. You can see HDR and I'm walking as well. I think it's a weird shift because of the stabilization, but otherwise the colors and the video looks fine. But we'll see after the processing and you guys tell me like how the video looks like. So if you want to see the proper HDR, this is how it looks. This is the greenery. This is the rear camera. I think the overall video is good. It's not drastically changed. It has been improved, but I have seen the color shift when I change the HDR from sky to normal. The stabilization is a little bit janky. So I like the quality of it, but there are still some improvements that needs to be done. So if I switch it to ultra wide, you will see a lot of noise as well. So I would say stick to the primary camera for video recording. In the nighttime, I think I've seen a little bit more improvement than the previous Pixel phones. It's not amazing. You will still see those stutters, but I think the nighttime video is more usable than before. I know it's too early to say anything, but my initial impressions are really good about this phone. So if you're thinking about purchasing it outside India, I think it's a really good phone. You can go for it. But in India, I would suggest waiting for a while. I think this phone is a little bit overpriced, even with the dollar and INR conversion ratio. It's like pro phones of iPhones. So I would say just wait for a while. It can be a good option. You still need to take care about that network issue a little bit, but I think overall it's a really good phone, just not very well priced in India. Do let me know if you already have this phone and are you happy with it, or you think Google made a lot of compromises with this phone. My name is Rohit. I'll see you in the next one. Till then.